Hi, I'm Ronald, and if you've ever struggled with doubt or wondered how God works in the face of opposition, please know that you're not alone. I've been there, wrestling with those very same questions. Sometimes the Bible can throw us these curveballs, right? But in those moments, that's when God's truth shines, and that's what we're going to explore today. I found a real passion for unpacking these sometimes tricky stories and making them relatable so that we can all see God's message speak to us. Whether you're new to the Bible or you've been reading it for years, I believe that there's always something fresh to learn. So let's dive into Numbers 16 and 17, and we'll see how God deals with rebellion and confirms the authority that He's given. Let's see what God reveals to us today. Let's open our Bibles. Numbers chapter 16 details the rebellion led by Korah, Dathan, and Abiram against the authority of Moses and his brother Aaron. It recounts their challenge to Moses' leadership, God's intervention, and the subsequent punishment of the rebels. The main themes are the consequences of challenging divinely appointed authority, the importance of humility and submission to God's will, also the vindication of God's chosen leaders. Verses 1 to 3, Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and 250 congregation leaders gather against Moses and Aaron. They challenge their authority, claiming that the entire congregation is holy and questioning why they exalt themselves. In verses 4 to 11, Moses falls on his face upon hearing their challenge, and he proposes a test to determine whom the Lord has chosen. They are to bring their senses before the Lord, and Moses rebukes Korah for his challenge against the Lord. In verses 12 to 15, Moses summons Dathan and Abiram, but they refuse to come. They accuse Moses of leading them out of the land flowing with milk and honey and to kill them in the wilderness. Wait, what? Haven't we heard this before? In case it wasn't obvious, that's not what Moses brought them out of. He brought them out of slavery. The land flowing with milk and honey has always been God's language in referring to the land of Canaan. They were romanticizing and idealizing the past. They remembered their bondage fondly. Not only that, but they were the ones who refused to enter the actual land of milk and honey when God allowed them to do so. So Moses then becomes very angry and states that he has not wronged them. We then see in verses 16 to 19 that Moses instructs Korah and his followers to bring their censers before the Lord, and the glory of the Lord appears to the entire congregation. Now, a censer is essentially a container designed to hold burning incense. It's like a vessel. Verses 20 to 24, the Lord instructs Moses and Aaron to separate themselves from the congregation as he intends to consume them. But Moses and Aaron pleads with the Lord not to destroy the entire congregation. In verses 25 to 34, Moses instructs the congregation to move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Then the earth opens up and swallows them, their household, and all their possessions. All those associated with them go down alive into Sheol. Now, in the Hebrew scriptures, the word used to denote the realm of the dead is Sheol. It simply means the place of the dead or the place of the departed soul, spirits. The New Testament Greek equivalent to Sheol is Hades, a general reference to the place of the dead. Now, Sheol, Hades, is divided into a place of blessing, where Lazarus was in Luke 16, and a place of torment, where the rich man was, also in Luke 16. Sheol is also a temporary place where the souls are kept as they await the final resurrection. But the souls of the righteous at death go directly into the presence of God, the part of Sheol called heaven or paradise or Abraham's bosom. We see that in Luke 23:43, 2 Corinthians 5:8, and also in Philippians 1:23. Verses 35 to 40 detail the destruction of the 250 men who offered incense by fire from the Lord. Now, the censers were repurposed into plates for the altar, serving as a memorial and a warning against claiming a priestly role that was not assigned to them. That makes you think about, are there any situations today that are people who are practicing preaching, pastors, priests, when they're not actually called to or assigned to them? Anyway, moving on. The next day, verses 41 to 50, the congregation complains against Moses and Aaron, blaming them for the deaths. The Lord sends a plague among the people, and Moses instructs Aaron to take his censer to make atonement for the people. Aaron stands between the living and the dead, and the plague is stopped. Number 16 is a powerful reminder of the consequences of rebellion against divinely appointed authority. It highlights the importance of humility and submission to God's will and demonstrates God's unwavering commitment to vindicating his chosen leaders. It shows the danger of pride and the importance of respecting God's ordained order. Numbers chapter 17 details God's confirmation of Aaron's priesthood through the miraculous budding of his rod. This chapter serves as a sign to quell the Israelites' continued grumbling and challenges Aaron's authority. The main themes are the confirmation of divine appointment, the cessation of rebellion, and the preservation of God's chosen leadership. Verses 1 to 5, the Lord instructs Moses to take a rod from each of the 12 tribe leaders, including Aaron's rod representing the tribe of Levi. These rods will be placed in the tent of meeting before the Ark of the Covenant, and then God declares that the rod of the man he chooses will sprout, thus silencing the Israelite complaints. Verses 6 to 9, Moses follows the Lord's instructions, placing the rods in the tent of meeting, and the next day, when Moses enters the tent, and Aaron's rod is found to have budded, blossomed, and produced ripe almonds. This miracle clearly shows that God has chosen Aaron. Verses 10 to 11, the Lord instructs Moses to return Aaron's rod to its place as a sign for the rebellious to prevent any further grumbling. Now, this rod is to be kept as a memorial, and Moses obeys. In the last couple of verses, 12 and 13, the Israelites, seeing the miracle, express their fear of approaching the tabernacle and dying. They see that approaching the tabernacle is dangerous. Now, number 17 provides a powerful demonstration of God's confirmation of Aaron's priesthood. The miraculous budding of Aaron's rod serves as an undeniable sign of divine appointment, effectively silencing the Israelites' rebellion. This chapter emphasizes the importance of respecting God's chosen leaders and the consequences of challenging his authority. It also shows God's great patience with the people and his desire to bring the peace to the camp. Thank you for joining me today. May God continue to bless you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Leave a comment with any question or comment you may have. I really do appreciate them. And I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.